3 months ago, I was sitting in AP US history when I took out my phone, clicked a few buttons, and a few hours later, I'd made almost $400. How is that even possible? In this video, I will show you exactly what I did and the steps that I took to get there, all while attending 4 AP classes the same day.
Hey everyone, it's Nick, and today I'm going to be showing you guys how I made $400 while trading stocks, trading options on SPY in school. I was actually in assembly when this happened and sort of throughout the school day when the move happened. And I want to show you how much money I put in, how I made the trade, and basically how much profit I made. As you can see on the screen right now, I did end up making close to $400 in just the span of a couple hours. So guys, I'm just going to quickly start by saying the strategy that I'm using, I will explain a little bit more in further detail at the end of the video. But for right now, all you need to know is that these lines that I'm looking at on both SPY and ES, which is what tracks the S&P 500, top 500 stocks in the stock market, is basically just support and resistance lines. So when you see these lines, just think of them as support and resistance, either rejecting off of it or it's going to bounce off of it. And in this case, I'm basically playing the rejection. So this is March 8th. This is a weekly chart, so each candle is 1 week, but this is the Friday of this week, and that is March 8th. And as you can see, it came up to test this black line on the weekly chart, and also on SPY. If we go over to the same week, it does come up to test this purple line on SPY again on the weekly chart. So the reason why I'm emphasizing the weekly chart is because the weekly chart is one of the strongest time frames to trade off of. The higher the time frame, obviously the more probable that it is for a rejection like this to happen. And in this case, we did get a nice rejection off both this black line and this purple line. So this is March 8th, like I said before, and I'm in AP US history class, if you guys have taken that class before, at 9:30, and I make a trade by seeing this rejection at the black and purple lines right when the stock market opens. So we had a gap up at pre-market and we opened right around these lines. So if we go over to Webull and we check out my trades and go down to here, as you can see, March 8th, 9:31, I make a purchase and I buy a contract for $300 on puts for SPY. If you guys don't know, puts are just betting on the stock to go down. And then at 9:32, I buy 2 more contracts of puts, probably for a farther out date. And then again at 9:36, I buy 2 more to leverage my position to 5 contracts total. And all in all, I probably have around $800 or $900 in the trade total. So here we are on the SPY 5-minute chart. This is right when the stock market opened at Friday, March 8th, 2024. And this is right where I entered. 9:30, 9:35-ish is when I started. I bought all 5 contracts of my puts. But as you can see, the stock market did rally almost $3 above my full entry. I got in around 516, and we ended up rallying almost to 519. And you might be asking, why did I mess up my entry so bad? So there was no issue with my philosophy with both ES and SPY on the 1 week and the lines that I was looking to reject off of. But I didn't check out SPY on the daily. And this is the importance of checking all time frames when you're trading, is that there was this yellow line that was pretty close to the price. I just got in too early when they hit those initial lines, but it really wanted to come up, test this line, and then go and reject, and that's exactly what it did. And I was actually in an assembly when this was happening, so I was basically just watching my money go away, and I checked my phone after the assembly, and this is what I saw. On screen, you can see how much I was down. It was pretty bad, and I was stressing out a lot until eventually after the assembly, I decided just to hold out the position because these were very strong indications that we could see a rejection, and I wanted to trust myself and have full confidence in my philosophy. So as you guys can see, I was right to trust myself, and we did chop for a little bit until making the move to the downside. And this was a very significant move to the downside. We went from 518 all the way down to 511, and then further to 508 the next day. So guys, before we get into the profit, I'm going to give you guys a play-by-play of how we actually ended up seeing the rejection. This is the week before we sort of get closer. And then on the last day of this week, Friday, March 8th, boom, there's that rejection right there. As you can see, it came down all the way to 504. Same thing here on ES on the weekly chart. Here we go. This is the week before. And then on the last day of this week, once again, we're going to see the test of this black line up here. And there it is right there. Very nice rejection. So here we are back on Webull, and I'm going to show you guys my 5 sells. You can see 5 contracts that I ended up selling and where I sold them. So the first contract I got rid of at 11:30. So we're back on the SPY 5-minute chart, and I want to show you guys where I ended up taking at 11:30. Right here, this candle came down to wick right here, and this is where I sold my first contract. So I actually don't have my lines drawn in because I decided to hide them for the purposes of making it look easier, so you guys just see the lines that are already there. But it's not hard to see that this was a support. Here we are just the day prior, and we're bouncing multiple times at this level. So I decided to take a contract out here, anticipating bounce, and we did end up getting a little bounce here. So back on Webull, 12:10 is when I took out my second contract. So I ended up selling during this chop because I was a little worried that when we see chop, we're usually anticipating a big move to the upside or another move to the downside, and I wasn't sure which one we were going to get. So I did end up taking profit here at 12:10. I sold another contract during this wick. But I held the rest of my contracts, and here we are at 1:06 p.m., and this was the biggest contract that I had, and as you can see, we ended up actually getting a very nice move. So further move to the downside right here, and off this green candle I decided to sell. So that was my heaviest contract. I ended up selling that for $450 total. And then guys, the last contract I sold was at 128, and this was one of my other big contracts. And as you can see, if we go back to the SPY 5-minute and we go to 120, yep, 128, more move to the downside, and that's where I ended up taking my last contract. So as you guys can see, I played this move very nice. I really rode the downside all the way to its last breath over here before we did get this little bit of upside over here. I didn't hold anything overnight because I was not trying to, you know, have theta or anything like that. Mess with my contract. I just wanted to get all of my profit as soon as I could. So guys, I want to remind you that I did all of this while in class, you know, still paying attention to class, still learning, but still managing my positions, making sure I was getting out when I needed to get out, make sure I was scaling my position all the way to the downside, and I ended up making $400 in just a few hours. So before we end off the video, I want to go into my strategy a little bit and explain to you guys how it works and how I use it on a daily basis. But basically, before you need to understand this strategy and this layout, you need to understand what Bollinger Bands are. So you guys probably know what Bollinger Bands are if you've traded before, but those basically work off of probability and off of a curve that I'll put on the screen right now. But when it is at the edge of the curve in the 95 percentile, it usually wants to return back to the original price. And that's why we get rejections off of these lines. You can see purple, blue, black, all of these lines, you get rejections off of them, either to the rejection to the downside, or you can get a bounce to the upside because of the way that it works with the distribution curve, that it's at the edge of this curve, so it wants to revert back to its original price. That's exactly what happened here. We came up to this line on here, and obviously over here on the daily chart, and we ended up getting a nice rejection. So guys, I know that was a very quick video, quick explanation of how I made this much money while trading in school, but I'm going to be uploading a lot more similar videos. I just made a trade on a video the other day while in my painting class, and I made over $200. So I'll definitely be uploading that pretty soon. But let me know if you guys like this type of content. Make sure to leave a comment if you have any questions about the strategy or how I actually made this trade, and make sure to leave a like. Thank you guys for watching the video, and I will see you guys in the next video.